We see in the fourth quarter, Asia Wilson's trying out for an offensive lineman
Did the
position.
Las Vegas Aces actually win against the Indiana Fever? Or did the referees hand them the game? Because when Asia Wilson racks up what feels like 37 uncalled fouls, mostly moving screens, elbows, and blatant shoves on Lexie Hull, you have to wonder if this was basketball or stage management. In this breakdown, we're exposing the full picture. Wilson's stat padding, the free throw imbalance, the missed calls, and the strange whistles that turned a fierce Fever performance into an officiating scandal. Fans are calling it a stolen series, and once you hear what Lexie Hull said afterward, you'll understand exactly why. Let us know down in the comments what you think of Asia's special whistle. How does one player get her own personal rule book while everyone else is forced to play by the actual one? That's the question hanging over this entire semifinal series. Because when you look closely at the numbers between Asia Wilson and Aliyah Boston, the pattern stops resembling coincidence and starts looking like orchestration. Across 5 games, Wilson waltzed to the free throw line 26 times, 26. Meanwhile, Boston, who battles for every rebound, absorbs hits in the paint, and gets mauled on nearly every post-up, reached the line just 17 times. And here's the kicker. Nearly half of those came in a single outing, Game 4, when the Aces started intentionally fouling in the final minute just to drag out the clock. Take away that desperate sequence, and the disparity between Wilson and Boston's free throws becomes indefensible. Now rewind to Games 1 and 2, and things get flat-out absurd. Aliyah Boston, the Fever's interior anchor, and arguably the most skilled post player in the league, didn't shoot a single free throw in either matchup. Not one. If you watched those games, you saw Wilson drawing fouls off phantom contact, grazing touches, incidental bumps, while Boston was getting hammered in the lane, without a whisper from the whistle. How do you explain that? You can't. This isn't about different playing styles. This is about selective enforcement. The ball ran through Boston all night, yet the refs acted like contact magically disappeared whenever she touched it. 2 straight games without a single call? That's not randomness. That's preference. And the foul numbers tell an even uglier story. Over 5 games, Boston was tagged with 19 fouls. Wilson, just 14, which is strange when you realize who was actually playing defense. Boston spent nearly every possession guarding Wilson directly, contesting her drives, absorbing her elbows, staying vertical on every shot. Meanwhile, Wilson was often switched onto the Fever's smaller players to save energy, rarely contesting Boston head-on. Yet somehow, Boston ended up with more fouls. How does that happen? Rewatch the film, and it becomes crystal clear. Wilson was setting moving screens like it was part of her job description, shuffling her feet, sticking her hips out, throwing shoulders into defenders to free Jackie Young or Chelsea Gray. Multiple analysts reviewing the tape counted 37 uncalled moving screens from Wilson throughout the series. 37. That's almost 8 per game, and not one of them blew the whistle. Meanwhile, Boston could barely set a clean pick without getting flagged. The double standard was so blatant, you could feel the frustration bleeding through the Fever bench. It's like the game turned into a one-way street. Fouls stacked up on Boston while Wilson glided through untouched. Boston kept her hands high, played straight-up defense, and still got called. Wilson dropped shoulders on entry passes, hooked arms on rebounds, and barreled through defenders with no consequence. You can call it tough officiating all you want, but at some point, it starts looking like protection, the kind that preserves a narrative instead of the integrity of the game. And that's the uncomfortable question nobody at the WNBA office seems willing to ask. Is the league's self-declared superstar being shielded? Because based on this series, Wilson's so-called special whistle doesn't sound like fan fiction. It's supported by data. Look at it from top to bottom. 0 free throws for Boston in the opening 2 games. 17 total compared to Wilson's 26. 19 fouls on Boston, just 14 on Wilson, despite her constant illegal screens.